My name is Jerry Gill, and today is October 13th, 2008. I'm visiting with Tom Bennett Jr. in his father's home in Oklahoma City. This interview is for the Oklahoma State Storage Project of the Oklahoma Oral History Research Program. Tom, you have quite a history. Your family, with the Bennett family at Oklahoma State University. So I could ask you a question like, how did you get to Oklahoma State? But probably should start with, how did you not get to Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I suppose for my family, I had been born in Washington, D.C., grown up in Oklahoma City, and then gone back and graduated from high school in Bethesda, Maryland. But there never was really any question of where I was going after high school. It was on to Oklahoma State in the fall of 1969.
And you went to high school, where did you say?
Well, I started off in Oklahoma City at John Marshall, and then my last 2 years were at BCC High School in Bethesda, Maryland.
Okay. All right. Well, Tom, what you got to Oklahoma State? Can you share a little bit about some of your experiences, some of your activities at OSU?
Sure. Well, gosh, when I got there in the summer of 1969 to go through Rush, the first thing was fraternity life. There are many terrific fraternities. My family had been involved in several. My sisters and mother and others had all been Pi Phis, and I was horribly disappointed Pi Phis didn't rush me. But then I discovered they didn't take men. But in any event, I went on and was a member of Sigma Nu. And there, I think I learned more than anything how to study. Coming out of high school, I hadn't been a particularly studious student. And there they had study hall, and they checked your grades, and they made sure that you were going to classes and that sort of thing. So that was an important part of my freshman year. And then they also required that you get out and be involved on campus. That wasn't hard for me. I loved being involved on campus. And so my freshman year would have been spent principally as a fraternity pledge and a new member. My second year, I got involved with the Arts and Sciences Student Council at OSU. Dan Wesley was our counselor, terrific man, a great friend, both all the time I was at OSU and after. And I showed up at the first meeting, and lo and behold, came out president. And we put on an event called Discovery 71 in 1971. It was a year right after, there was great turmoil in the country over the Vietnam War. There had been the Kent State riots the summer before, where 4 students were killed. There had been Woodstock the summer before, and there had been an Honor America Day in Washington, D.C. the summer before. And we said, how could we put those 3 ideas together and have an event in Stillwater, Oklahoma at OSU, which became Discovery 71, where we brought speakers in, we brought musicians in, and we spent a day trying to talk about how do we solve our country's problems and how do we work cooperatively together. So that was my first big experience in student government, and went on from there to continue involvement in other student activities. I had the honor, while I was on campus, of being the Student Government Association president. And it was the year I ran for office, the gentleman who ran against me ran to abolish student government. So my quest was to demonstrate that student government was relevant and could really make a difference on the campus and in everyone's lives. And we, over the course of that year, did all kinds of things, ranging from publishing a How to Do It in Stillwater guide for students, to engaging in all kinds of campus activities, to including sponsoring a lawsuit against the state of Oklahoma's beer purchasing laws, which at the time, men had to be 21 to drink, women had to be 18, which we thought was unconstitutional. We turned out to be correct, and nobody anticipated that when the Supreme Court ruled against the state of Oklahoma, they'd raise the drinking age for everyone to 21. So anyway, there was a whole lot of educational experiences during that time that opened my eyes to all kinds of practical politics and all kinds of relationship management, and it really was a wonderful experience in a turbulent time in America. When I was student body president was the election of second election of Richard Nixon, and the Democratic candidate was George McGovern. And some of the last votes in the country were cast in Stillwater, Oklahoma, as at that time they had just moved the voting age to 18. And they hadn't yet consolidated all the precincts where the students lived into different precincts, and so they all were in one precinct, and students were lined up the closing time and stuck around and voted even though the election was over. It was a great time of participation and being involved and wanting to make a difference. And so I look back on my college days as a wonderful experience that included the academic world, but also the activity world of the campus. Sure, there's one more thing I'd like to say about my campus life. For me, like the thousands of other students, the most important thing of being on the Oklahoma State campus was meeting my wife, Sue. I think that's a place where people fall in love and make lifetime relationships. And so Sue and I were both students at OSU. She was a year behind me, but a much better student. And so that's where we met, and then we married shortly after she graduated.
Tom, after you graduated, you went into banking and profession, and may talk about that a little bit, but we'd like for you to talk about your relationship throughout your lifetime with Oklahoma State University, with your alma mater.
Sure. Well, I did start off my career in banking in 1973 at Stillwater National Bank at the suggestion of a OSU vice president named Norman Moore. I never thought for a moment about banking as a career, but I needed a job, and Norman Moore introduced me to Bob McCormick at Stillwater National. And one thing led to another, and here I am 35 years later, still in the banking business. But a natural part, I think, of being a banker is that being involved in the community. Bankers are some of the professionals in the community get paid by the day rather than by the hour, and so it just has always seemed natural to be involved with a variety of activities, including OSU. When we lived in Stillwater, Sue and I were involved in the Payne County OSU Alumni Club, and that was a positive activity and fundraising activities for the OSU Foundation. Later, we left Stillwater and went to Washington and then Boston and back to Oklahoma City. I was involved in helping put together an economic development plan for the state of Oklahoma under Governor Bellman. And on the board that I reported to included the presidents of OU and OSU. At that time, Larry Boger was president, and he was a member of that board, so I had the occasion to go once a month to Stillwater to meet with Larry Boger and update him on how we were doing on putting together the plan, and consciously thinking about how OSU should be involved in the state's economic development efforts, whether it's county extension or the core work on the campus or expansion elsewhere. So that was a good long-running experience with OSU. Sue and I and the boys subsequently moved to Tulsa, and during that time, Sue was involved in the Tulsa Alumni Club. She was president there. And Jerry, you, and others invited me to start becoming involved in the National OSU Alumni Association. And so I can't remember all the different activities we got to participate in together, but I had the opportunity to be the president of the Alumni Association. I think it was in 1994. And that was really a great, exciting experience of seeing OSU in a period of growth and a period of fun things happening, both in Stillwater and in other places across the state. Also during that period of time, I was a trustee and then regent at what was called the University Center at Tulsa. It became Oklahoma State University Tulsa. The original concept was 4 universities all participating together at what was called UCT. And I wasn't formally the OSU representative, but because I was coincidentally the president of the Alumni Association, I had the effect of being the OSU representative on that board. And so that was a really positive experience at engaging with OSU and seeing how they could be involved in Tulsa in a really major way and make a difference on that campus. So those would be a wide range of activities in which Sue and I participated with OSU. Our oldest son, Tom, graduated from OSU, and our two younger sons both went for a period of time at OSU, but graduated elsewhere.
It was a special feeling for you to be president of the Alumni Association, knowing that your grandfather had been president of the university.
Oh yeah, it really was. My grandfather unfortunately died when I was 1 year old. I am sure that I knew him and he knew me, but I don't have memories dating back to when I was 1 year old. But growing up, I had always heard about him all of my life, from stories from my father and mother and cousins and aunts and uncles and friends of the family. And so I had always felt a great affinity for Oklahoma A&M and subsequently OSU. And I'd heard stories of him being a dreamer, not just of his own dreams, but a person who pulled together the dreams of other people and was able to say them back in a way that people could see how to make that happen and build something and make it happen, originally in Stillwater and subsequently around the state. So that always fascinated me, and I always wanted to be a part of that. I always wanted to be a part of helping advance the dream for OSU, both for the students and for how it could make a difference in the state of Oklahoma and in the world.
Well, when we were visiting with your father earlier, we talked about the role of alumni in the university and how your grandfather, Dr. Bennett, really seemed to believe in and valued alumni and their involvement in the university. Is that your take on that as well?
Oh, sure. I think that he was a active speaker during his presidencies around the state, whether it was at high school graduations or at alumni meetings or civic groups or just about anybody who would listen, and always promoting OSU and promoting the idea that education is the opportunity for young people to succeed. And I think that resonated. It connected with people, both the young people themselves incoming, but also their parents and their grandparents who wanted to see them come on to A&M or OSU. So yeah, I think he continuously was involved with OSU alumni. And as has been my experience, OSU alumni, through your network of friendships that continue beyond the university, form a network of people with whom you can do business, with whom you are friends, and with whom you share life's adventures.
Tom, what role do you see alumni playing in the life of the university, or roles?
Well, I am thrilled to death that we currently have an alum as president of Oklahoma State University. I think that they couldn't have made a better choice than Burns Hargis. I think from running the university to, my guess is, a high percentage of the faculty members have one of their degrees from Oklahoma State University, so a lot of times they go on to be the professors. I think the alumni support the university in all kinds of ways, not the least of which is sending their kids on to OSU as students, but as taxpayers in the state of Oklahoma who support and provide the political base, if you will, for OSU to continue to gain its support, as well as financial contributions through the OSU Foundation in the many programs that OSU has.
Tom, can you recall some of the issues or your presidency when you were on the national board?
As you'll recall, Jerry, from time to time we would ask the question, is there another way to do this? I think prior to my presidency, one of the key activities was dinners across the state that had been a principal focus. And I think that that didn't discontinue, but it wasn't the major emphasis. It shifted to a different focus of getting students to come to the campus. Under the idea of, it's one thing for them to think about OSU in their hometown, it's another thing to get on the campus, to see the campus, to feel the campus, and have a sense of the campus. Then they'd want to come back. They'd want to be students at OSU. So student recruitment, I think, as a part of the alumni work, has always been a positive thing. While I was president of the Alumni Association, we had a new president, Jim Halligan. And that was an exciting period of time to see a new president come in with new energy and new ideas and try to take the campus forward, and I think he did. Just prior to that, with John Campbell as president, there had been challenges in discussing what are the role of an administration. How do you change things? I don't think it was in my position as president of Alumni Association, but just as an active alum, I got engaged in that dialogue and talked about how we needed to have a strong president. We needed to have strong engagement by the administration, and so that was one of the issues at the time. One I was personally very involved in was what would be OSU's role in Tulsa through the University Center at Tulsa, which at the time was debated. Which university was going to offer which programs? Could they offer joint programs? Who got to do what? And so that was a matter of great controversy then that I think it's not been settled, but OSU has established itself with a clear presence in Tulsa and making a great difference for the community.
Tom, what do you recall and realize this is 2 generations removed from your grandfather, but some of the questions that discussion we had with your father earlier about the legacy of Henry G. Bennett. Let's talk first about Oklahoma State University. What do you think the legacy that he left for OSU?
I think as people look back at his presidency now, and if they think about it, he arrived as the Depression arrived. He arrived as the Dust Bowl arrived. He arrived as the wheels were falling off in the state of Oklahoma. And what he did was pull together the alumni and the faculty and the students and the friends of the university to create a vision of what it could look like someday. And it became known as the 25-year plan. I think in all of our lives, no one knows what's going to happen in 25 years. That's a euphemism for someday. Someday, if we all work hard, this great thing can happen and we can build this university. And he didn't just dream it, he put it on paper. He put it in a model that people could look at and think about and visualize how that was going to happen. And then they all set about working to make it happen. And I think that today you can look at the campus and go, not only did they accomplish the 25-year dream, but all of those who succeeded him made it bigger and better than they dreamed about back in 1928, 29. So I think a part of his legacy would be that in spite of hard times, in spite of a depression and a dust bowl and things going badly, you can still dream great dreams. You can still pull people together and make those dreams come true. It may not happen this year, it may not happen next year, it may not happen during your administration. A lot of the 25-year plan happened after my grandfather had passed away and on in the administrations of Oliver Wilhelm and Bob Comm and those who followed. But I think a key part of his legacy is that you can dream great dreams in spite of how bad things might be, and they can come true if you set about the hard work of making them happen.
Moving from there to the international stage and working again, as your father pointed out, he had a lot of experience in some international policy-making decisions and also in some programs abroad before he became director of the Point 4 program. But in the Point 4 program, you and I talked about this some before. What do you think we use that word vision, what was his vision, do you think, for international educational development programs?
Well, I think it started from his experience as a young man, a boy and a young man, that education is the key. Education's the ticket out of poverty. Education is what you have to have in order to make things better for you and for your family and for those you care about. And so I think he endeavored through the Point 4 program and the other things he was involved in before to bring education to bear on helping lesser developed countries make things better. Whether it was formal education or technical education, he was engaged in teaching people how to do things better, how to make their life better. I think two of the programs that have followed on the Point 4 program, USAID continues to invest in lesser developed countries around the world, and the Peace Corps has gone on to take Americans to other countries to engage hands-on in helping teach people about how to make their life better. So I think the overarching theme for him would be that education is the key out. It's the ticket to a better life. And then I suppose if you're going to go deeper than that in his life, his faith that there is a God who is in charge and knows what he's doing. He cares about each of us, and he wants us to have a better life. He wants people to engage in helping each other. He wants people to live out the golden rule of doing unto others as you'd have them do unto you. So you take that philosophy of getting out and doing, actively making a difference for other people with education, so you're equipped and ready to help other people, and you can really make a difference in the world around you.
I guess would you throw it to Tom that work ethic where he grew up, his background? I know he grew up in, his parents sharecropped sometimes they owned the land. I mean, but grew up in a pretty tough environment, and he learned that if you work hard, you're persistent, I mean, good things will happen.
He did. He had many jobs growing up. Whether it was delivering the mail as a young man, education, and I have heard stories about his work ethic and the amount of travel he was willing to do, the amount of speeches he was willing to give, and still be an active president involved in running the university and that sort of thing. And I think that that's lived itself on, passing that example on to my father. My father's 88, still working full-time, and annually when they call him to ask on his birthday if he's ready to retire, he reminds them that, like Moses, he's planning on working till he's 120, and then he's going to visit with the Lord about it and see what's ahead. But I think that hard work combined with education and a focused place you're trying to accomplish things makes great things happen.
It's been said that his concept of land-grant university, of teaching people and research to create products and services to benefit people, and then extension to take that out to the people, that sometimes perhaps it's simplistic, but that his philosophy about international education mirrored that, and on an international scale it was kind of that land-grant model. Would that be an accurate statement, do you think?
Oh yeah, I think for sure. Extension is a descriptive word. You go beyond the campus to extend yourself out into the community. And in his time, the first extension was here in Oklahoma through the extension workers in all the different counties. Subsequently, it was extending his work around the world with the .4 program and the other things that he got involved with the president. I'm sure if he were alive today, he would be focused on extension through the internet and through the various means technology can get us involved in extending ourselves beyond where we are, where all the people are, so you can make a difference where people live.
Tom, maybe speculating a little bit or asking you to think about it, but if Dr. Bennett had been in charge of .4 no longer he had, let's say if he's in charge of .4 today, how would our policies and our programs be different?
Well, I think it was Eric Sevareid who, in a eulogy for him, talked about him as a practitioner of Christianity. And I don't mean that as an evangelical Christian, but as a practitioner of doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think my grandfather's philosophy, as his generation of the leaders of our country after World War II, they didn't set out to colonize, they didn't set out to dominate, they set out to help. They helped rebuild Germany, they helped rebuild Japan, they helped rebuild through the .4 program lesser developed countries around the world. And I think if we were doing that today, we're doing a better job of that today, not only would it be a better world to live in, but we have a lot more friends around the world that appreciated the difference we're making in helping them educate their children and helping them build a better economy so they have better opportunities. I think it would be a friendlier place to live, a safer place to live, because, I think one of the paradoxes that Jesus taught was that we should love our enemies. And at first you go, that doesn't make sense, until you think, well, that's the best way. They are friends then, and we defeat them by making them friends. And I think that was the approach. After the war, so many people were destroyed. So many economies were destroyed. And to step in and help people build things back again, that was the right approach. That's the right approach today.
Tell me about the Bennett family. It's very special at Oklahoma State University, obviously, Tom. And could you share a little bit about some of your brothers and sisters and siblings, and a little bit of the family, some of your ties with the Swim family? Just kind of give us a little
Sure.
genealogy, a little family history, maybe?
Quickly, I can try. The first part of our family that came to Oklahoma was the Swim family. My mother's family came in 1889 to the Land Run. And they settled in Stillwater, ultimately. They didn't start off in Stillwater. They started off in a rural area farming. But they got there, my mother's father, to go to college in 1920. Then the newcomers, the Bennetts, arrived in 1928. Dad's father and his mother had come from Durant, and they also settled in Stillwater. And then as happens, our family's I'm a fifth generation Oklahoman, and my son's a sixth, and grandchildren are seventh generations. People that stick around for a long time marry other families that have been around a long time, and so part of our family is the Drummond family, long association with OSU, and other groups that have long time connections with OSU. But as do my immediate family, I have two sisters and a brother. My sister Beverly, now Beverly Groom, lives in Virginia. A longtime OSU activist, worker in the Washington, D.C. area. And she was a lobbyist for many years until she decided to settle down and raise her daughter.
She was also president of the Washington, D.C. area chapter for many years.
Yes, and a very proud OSU alum. As a matter of fact, when OSU won the football game the other night, the first call I got was from Beverly going, God, can you see that? Isn't that fantastic? And it occurred to me that everyone else at her house had gone to sleep while she stayed up and watched OSU beat Missouri. My second sister, Elizabeth, we're in her home today. Elizabeth is here in Oklahoma City in the life insurance business, and after a long career, successful career in the garment industry in New York. My brother David also lives in Oklahoma City. He's a professor at University of Central Oklahoma, retired colonel in the Army Reserves. And then my wife Sue and I live in Tulsa. We have three sons. Our oldest son, Tom, and his wife have two children. Tom 4 is their oldest son. As my son Tom points out, we're not very original with names. We just keep the ones we like going over again.
Like TB3.
Yeah, and their daughter is Hannah. And then our son Jim, also, and his wife Jennifer, also live in Tulsa. As an interesting footnote, Jennifer's a Stillwater girl whose family long association with university. They have two children. The eldest is a daughter, Taylor, and their son Noah. And then our youngest son, Henry IV, who we all call Hank, lives in Washington, D.C., where he presently works for the Democratic National Committee.
That's great. Tom, just from your observations with the years, your family connections, multi-generational, your time as a student there, your time as a leader in the Alumni Association, what are things you think that make OSU special? It seems like there's a lot of passion that people have about OSU. What is it that makes OSU special?
Well, Jerry, I guess as I've grown older, I've come to believe that life is all about relationships and everything else is extra. And I think what makes OSU special is the people, the long-term relationships that people establish, not only with their fellow students, although certainly with their fellow students. I can't even imagine how many young people have met, fallen in love, and started their families as students at OSU. But the relationship between the students and the faculty, I've maintained many long-term friendly relationships with faculty members who not only taught me but befriended me in school, and people in administration over the years who have befriended me and encouraged me and helped me along. The alumni base provides a wonderful resource when Sue and I moved to Tulsa, we didn't know many people, but we knew there were a lot of OSU alums there, and so it was an easy network to become a part of. So I think what makes OSU special is the relationships between a lot of really good people who have good hearts and they want to make a difference, and they're friendly. And I guess other universities also have strong networks of relationships, but ours is special because it's our people.
Orange is more than just a color; it's a connection.
That's right.
Tom, what you see all the things are happening on campus now? The $700 million plus worth of current and planned renovation and construction. How do you feel about that as an alum?
Well, I think it's great. I think anything they can do to make it a better experience for the college students is wonderful. I think anything they can do to make it a better place for the faculty to teach and to do research is wonderful. I think that it makes an attractive draw for young people to come to college. And I know that that's not all they're doing. It's not just the building on campus, but it's continuing to build in Tulsa, and other places in Oklahoma, and around the world, continuing to build that network of relationships. So I think OSU is at a very good time in OSU's history, led by a great president. So I think the future is very bright, and I think all of us should feel very good about where OSU is at this time.
What do you think about the chairs program, endowed chairs program that many have stepped up, and of course the Boone Pickens gift is the challenge gift, but the match with the state, and do you think that's going to make a difference academically for OSU?
Well, it should, both in terms of our ability to attract faculty to endowed chairs, but also in terms of keeping the cost of going to college for the students at a reasonable level. I think that anything that we can do to enhance the educational opportunity for the people of our state and for others who come to Oklahoma to go to college is a good thing. As we've talked before, there are a lot of different public policy things people focus on in our country that are all interesting, but not of equal importance. It's my view that in our state, we need to adjust our lenses and our glasses, or the paradigm through which we see the world, so that we can see education is the ticket. And the more we can do, whether it's through increased taxes or whether it's increased endowment, contributions from alumni, anything we can do to advance the cause of education will have the long-term benefit of advancing the economic well-being and quality of life of our people. That's the road, not cutting taxes, not finding other things to focus our energies on, but that's the road out. And I hope we can keep that focus.
Sounds like something that Dr. Henry G. Bennett would have said as well.
Well, I've read a number of his speeches from back when he was speaking across Oklahoma. One of them that really has resonated with my thinking over time. He was saying the only unique contribution that Americans have made to the idea of governance is mandatory free public education. America didn't think of democracy. The Greeks thought of democracy. America didn't think of a bunch of the stuff, capitalism. We didn't think of capitalism. Other people thought of that before us. But before America, there was not mandatory free public education. Now, when they thought of it, what they were thinking of was white boys in elementary school. Now, over the years, that idea has evolved, not only for white boys, but children of all colors, and both boys and girls. And originally it was elementary school, and then it became junior high, and then it became high school. And interesting, that's how it's structured that way, because it was chopped up in how we made it mandatory and going forward. He was making the case, and this was in the 1930s, the next step was free public education. Now, that didn't come to pass in Oklahoma. It was experimented with.
Higher education.
Free public higher education was the pitch he was making. That didn't come to pass in Oklahoma. But the philosophy being what made America great wasn't capitalism, that was already done. Wasn't democracy, that was already done. It was free, mandatory public education that made America great. That's because an educated people can govern themselves, and educated people can build their society, and educated people can build a quality of life that is better than not educated people. We've proven that over 200 years, and that's what he believed. That's what I believe, and I think that's what I would like to think an educated people from Oklahoma State University can come to realize, so we can make our state what our potential is.
Tom, maybe a kind of final direction here. I had the opportunity the last couple of weeks to visit a couple Student Government Association presidents, one of them early, and one of them was the first black female.
Oh yeah, Patrice
Latimer.
Yeah, she followed me.
So my question is, sometimes we talk about education opportunities outside the classroom. You allude to some of your activities, but in terms of leadership opportunities, personal growth opportunities, are these important, and should OSU continue to emphasize these kinds of things?
Oh, they're absolutely critical. I'm embarrassed to say, people ask, what did you major in at OSU? And I say, well, until I was a junior, I majored in student government, until I discovered that wasn't an academic program. And then I had to sit down with my counselor and look at the classes I'd taken to see what kind of degree it looked like I was going to finish.
What did you wind up with?
I have a degree in sociology. It could have been history, could have been family relations and child development, or psychology. Those were the classes I gravitated to because I liked them, I enjoyed them. I think if I had discovered economics as an undergraduate, that might also have been in the bucket there. But the greatest part of my undergraduate education was, in fact, outside of the classroom, in a wide range of student activities, and with faculty members helping me there, with administrators helping me there in student government, giving me coaching and direction, and helping us see how to make a difference. I can promise you they didn't hire me at Stillwater National Bank out of college for my sociology degree. They hired me for my student government activities and the things I was able to do. I did go back and started on an MBA at OSU and got halfway through and got distracted. But the activities, I think, are critical to both learning and to making it an enjoyable experience. And it's the practical side of what they're going to be doing when they finish the university. They're going to be going out in communities all over the world, especially here in Oklahoma, and needing to get involved in city councils and in United Ways and in civic organizations and churches. And that's the kind of thing they're going to have to learn how to do in college and carry on as they go forward out of the university. So I think student activities are a critical part of the learning experience at Oklahoma State University, and would encourage young people to do them and older people to financially support them, and the administration to give them time to let them do it, and to make that experience really rich and worthwhile.
Tom, anything that we haven't covered, I'd like to discuss anything relating to your grandfather, to Bennett, to your dad, to the Bennett family, about OSU. There's some things we might have touched on you'd like to explore a little more that we haven't covered?
Well, I guess I could summarize. For me, what my father and mother passed on to me, that I think both of their parents passed on to them, both Leslie and Gertrude Swim on my mother's side and Henry and Vera Bennett on my father's side, was that the first a building block of life is faith. That's central to understanding who you are and why you're here and what you're supposed to be doing. That God has given us an incredible world to get to live in and to grow up and raise our families and participate in. And that God wants to engage us in being active citizens of His kingdom and making this a better place. Secondly, the only group God permanently assigns you to is your family. You will always be your parent's child. You will always be your sibling's sibling. You will always be your children's parent. That's permanent. That's an assignment. That's the fundamental human relationship. And you need to build family. You need to consciously work at building family. You can look from the earliest biblical times. As human beings, we goof things up, and we need to fix it. And we need to keep the family going and keep the family as a strong, cohesive, positive unit. A lot of people do that through OSU, through that being part of their family and the extension of their family and who they are. And then the third thing is that with faith and with family, if you're going forward to a better future, education is the ticket. That's what it takes. Not just during the college years, certainly during the college years, without a doubt. Young people should finish their degrees and make that the springboard to their future, but to keep on getting educated all of their life as they look at the things they want to do, like build a family and build a career, build an education plan. And that education plan should be both formal, in the sense of classes and training and seminars and that sort of thing, perhaps a graduate degree, and it should be informal in the sense of travel. I don't think someone is an educated person if they haven't gone outside of the United States. If you haven't traveled to another country, you have no idea what we have here. This country is unbelievable when you see it through the eyes of people from another country. What we have put together in the United States is not like anything else in the world. And so I would say those three things, and I think I've gotten all of those from my parents and from their parents: faith, family, and education. And
Hard work.
and hard work. Yeah, oh yeah. I just assume that. I just assume hard work's part of the deal. It doesn't have to be hard, bitter work. It can be fun work. I mean, watching the Cowboys play football is fun for everybody. Now, it's hard work for the young men out there on the field, but it's fun to get to participate in life. And people won't achieve things in life if they don't think of hard work as fun. In fact, I've always felt like in all of the working environments I've been a part of that it needs to be fun. It needs to consciously be fun. You need to celebrate your victories and quickly get over your defeats and get up and go again and have fun doing it. And that makes for a good life.
Tom, it's a good right. Faith, family, education.
And hard work.
Hard work. That's a great combination. Thank
Okay.
you. Appreciate it very much.
Sure.